6:30, we will begin the Planning Commission meeting, May 21st. Can we start with a roll call?
Commissioner Light,
Present.
Commissioner Boswell,
Present.
Commissioner Young,
Here.
Commissioner Gaddis,
Present.
Commissioner Conroy,
Here.
Commissioner Hazeltine, Chairperson Craig.
Here. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll have Mr. Conroy lead us.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And so we got to get a motion to approve the order of our agenda.
Motion to approve the order of agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Blue folder items, I believe we did receive one blue folder item. It was an email, I think.
Correct.
Okay, sorry.
Motion to,
motion
receive and
received,
file blue folder items.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Okay, consent calendar. Let's see. Do I have to read all that or not? Business items except those formally re-noticed by the public hearing for the, or those polled for discussion are assigned in the consent calendar. The commission members may request that any consent calendar items be removed, discussed, and/or enacted upon separately. Items removed from the consent calendar will be taken up under the excluded consent calendar X section below. Those items remaining in the consent calendar will be approved in one motion. The chair will call on anyone wishing to address the commission on any consent calendar item on the agenda, which has not been polled by the commission for discussion. Each speaker will be permitted to speak only once, and comments will be limited to a total of 3 minutes. Can we get a motion to approve the?
Anybody want
Can I
to?
briefly pull F2?
We certainly do so.
On the minutes, under on page 9, it lists senior planner is Stephen Jang with a G. And then on page 11, it lists, when referencing him on the third paragraph, it references him as senior planner Chang with a CH. So
It should be with a G.
okay. So yeah, I mean, it had a G, so it's correct on page 9, off on page 11.
Do we have a motion to correct that?
What's that?
Do you have a motion to correct that?
To make that change?
Never mind.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, so.
Okay, and
Go ahead.
the public can speak on that here, right? Any public comments on it?
Yeah, any public comments on any of the consent calendar items? Come up, speak now, or
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
all in favor?
Aye.
It shall be approved.
Second.
I wasn't here for that meeting, so I'm going to abstain
Oh, very
on
good.
approving the minutes.
That is good. Thank you for correcting that. Now, the next item is the public participation on non-agenda items. This section is intended to provide members of the public with the opportunity to comment on any subject that does not appear on this agenda for action. This section is limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will be afforded 3 minutes to address the commission. Each speaker will be permitted to speak only once. Written requests, if any, will be considered first under this section. Do we have any speaker cards, Jamal?
We do not.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to come up and speak on non-agenda items at this time? Very good. I guess and is there any online participants?
We have no attendees at this time.
Okay, very good.
Motion to, oh, there's
Make a
none.
motion.
No, there's no motion. Where's the next agenda item?
We won't do that.
Okay, so we've already done that in H. And we've received any written comments on non-agenda items? I don't think we have any. All right, public hearing. So we're on item J1.
Ex parte.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please go ahead. Any ex parte communications, Commissioner Light?
Nothing to declare.
Commissioner Boswell?
I had none.
Mr. Young?
Members of the public.
Commissioner Gaddis?
None.
Commissioner Conroy?
J1, spoke with members of the public.
And Commissioner Hazeltine?
The public and Commissioner Chair Wayne Craig.
There you go. I spoke with Commissioner Hazeltine, and I also spoke to City Council member Chad Castle. J1, I believe with the
Motion to open the public hearing for J1.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Scully, you're up.
All right, thank you, Chair, members of the
Commissioner Scully,
Planning
I'm sorry,
Commission.
Director Scully.
Should I read the agenda item before we get into it?
Yeah, we probably
I
should.
can go
Certainly.
ahead as a public,
Yes.
so my motion was to open the public hearing for consideration of amendments to Title 10, Chapter 5 zoning ordinance of the Redondo Beach Municipal Code, RBMC, pertaining to service station regulations regarding general food sales. Consideration of findings / exemptions under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, including but not limited to findings that said additional regulations and or adjustments of existing regulations are not subject to CEQA pursuant to sections blah, blah, blah of the CEQA guidelines, that the code amendments are not a project subject to section 15378B5.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. Sean Scully, Planning Manager. So tonight we have a guest from the City Manager's Office who's going to walk the commission through this item. Assistant to the City Manager, Luke Smoody. So I'll hand it over to Luke at this point.
All right, thank you, Chair Craig and Commissioners. Luke Smoody from the City Manager's Office. Tonight's public hearing to consider adding general food sales at service stations to the city's coastal zone. For the presentation, we'll give you a little background on the regulations that exist, talk about how the city's changed the regulations in the past several years, and then also talk about the City Council direction that brings me before you tonight. So a little background, general food sales by the Business and Professions Code includes general grocery items, and this is a class of goods that includes beer and wine. And so prior to October 2023, the city's 10 service stations were permitted to sell only incidental convenience items, and these are items that are classified for the immediate consumption of the motoring public, I believe the Business and Professions Code puts it. And so this was small items like soft drinks, candy, individual servings of milk, not a gallon of milk, not a big bag of chips, just things that people would grab and go. And so state law has since turned to where you cannot regulate those two uses that are permitted in the same site. However, because we had an ordinance from 1971 which predated those regulations, we were allowed to keep that regulation in place that prohibited general grocery sales at service stations, or general food sales, I'm sorry. And so currently, in 2023, the council did move to allow general food sales at service stations in only the city's inland zone. So of the 10 service stations that are existent in the city now, 8 of those are in the inland zone. So 8 are allowed to have general food sales at this point, but they would have to pursue a conditional use permit and have that use granted on that site for the general food sales. And so to this date, only one of those 8 service stations in the inland zone has applied for that. It's up on Artesia Boulevard, which has become the Mickey's Deli that's there. And so, and statistically, there haven't been any more alcohol-related issues from what I pulled from the police department, but, one of the 8 has pursued it thus far. And basically at those locations, if they are approved for a CUP, they have to follow all state guidelines as well as our local regulations. And so the Business and Professions Code itself sets the floor of what the regulations are for a service station that's going to be selling these general food inclusive of beer and wine. And so this floor is something that, according to the law, the city can surpass and add additional regulations on top of that. So this talks about where alcohol can be displayed, how it can be displayed, can't be advertised, no self-illuminating signs, and also that employees working between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. must be at least 21 years of age to sell beer and wine. And so the council, when they approved general food sales in the inland zone, added additional regulations that I'll share with you now. And so in addition to the ABC regulations, only beer and wine, no liquor, which is specified in the code as well, but council wanted to be more explicit with that. There's a limit on retail space. Coolers must be locked when beer and wine is not in sale. No single serving containers, no exterior advertisements of alcohol, no sales through drive-through windows. And then with the CUP, they don't want the sale to negatively impact the area. So if someone did apply, have a CUP, and it had a negative effect on the community, that is something that could be a condition for that CUP to be revoked. So there is that additional measure of control. And then also wanted to regulate out that there'd be no video games, electronic games at sites where, and no single serving containers at service stations where this is allowed. And that's more to make it something so it's not enticing for someone to grab a single serving beer, sit, play a video game, maybe consume it on site, even though that's against the regulation. So it was just basically making it so folks would have the opportunity to purchase general grocery inclusive of beer and wine on site, and then purchase it and then take it to consume off site. And so the city council direction that has me before you tonight, on January 13th, council unanimously voted to direct staff to take the necessary steps to allow the sale of general grocery items at service stations in the coastal zone. So that's the additional 2 service stations that weren't covered in the inland zone. And so the action that we're requesting tonight is to consider the proposed ordinance that would amend the Redondo Beach Municipal Code to allow general food sales at service stations in the coastal zone, and also find that proposed ordinance is consistent with the city's general plan.
Just an additional comment on this. So when the inland ordinance came before the Planning Commission back in 2023, this body determined not to adopt that ordinance. The council went ahead.
I remember that.
Did adopt it. So the ordinance before you tonight is identical to that one, that same ordinance that the city council adopted back in 2023.
Well, quick question though. I had a question with regard to the hours, because I know that with the Mickey's location, there was a limited amount of hours. And then when you read through the outline of this, it said something about requirement from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. that the person had to be over 21. Is this going to restrict that to an earlier time, like at midnight or something, or is this still leaving it open to 2 a.m.?
It's still open to 2 a.m. as per the law, but a conditional use permit could potentially have additional regulations if that was a concern.
So that would happen when a CUP came before us, we could restrict the hours on that point in time. Okay. And then one other interesting thing you mentioned, you said that this was the whole ordinance or the law was directed toward the motoring public. So I assume this isn't just limited to people driving their cars, right?
No, it's just that's a kitschy phrase in the regulations that I like to bring up because it's kind of fun to say. And but yeah, that's just how it's written.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Boswell, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just in case I didn't hear this right, because you talked very fast.
I'm used to presenting at about 10:30.
We did this in 2023. Only one gas station took us up on it. So the Planning Commission decided it wasn't a great idea. The City Council decided it was a great idea, but only one gas station out of 8 decided, yeah, that's a good idea. And it's our buddy over on Inglewood and Artesia, right? Okay. So you were saying that there's no crime related to that?
Correct, yeah. According to the statistics that I was provided with from the police department, there weren't alcohol-related incidents at that specific address since the CUP was granted by the Planning Commission.
So what? It's one gas station. He's barely had the thing. We don't know if this is going to cause problems in the community because it hasn't been there long enough. And it looks like it's not all that eager of a thing for gas stations to want to sell beer and wine. Maybe they already know, yeah, that's going to bring trouble. So why are we doing this?
It was recommended by City Council that we bring it back for adoption. My understanding of the impetus there was the gas station that's on Torrance Boulevard and PCH. They had formerly been a 7-Eleven, and they had that franchise agreement based on their ability to secure the sales of beer and wine at that location, because they weren't allowed under our existing regulations to sell general grocery items. They lost their 7-Eleven franchise license. And so he's trying to resume as a 7-Eleven operation, continue operations as a 7-Eleven, or resume operations with the ability to sell general grocery items.
This is a good strategy to become a 7-Eleven again.
That's my understanding and how he presented it when he spoke at the city council.
Somebody in particular on the city council that brought this up?
It was referred to us by Councilmember Castle.
And that's his district then?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so thanks for the background.
Of course.
I believe Commissioner Gaddis had a question? Or?
His mouse
mouse
was up
was out
first.
first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will stand corrected. Commissioner Conroy.
All right. So part of the reason this body voted unanimously against it back in 2023 was because the RB Police Department was not in favor of it. Do we have the police department's opinion as it relates to this specific change?
It's not something that was, as we've discussed it in department head and things, wasn't something that they raised opposition to.
Okay.
Were
And
they asked?
Sorry. Did you say at the Mickey's Deli location, they're meeting all that same criteria as far as not being able to sell single serve sizes and so forth, right? Okay. And then last question, for the Coastal Commission certification, do you have any idea how long that would take?
That's, right now, could be as quick as 6 months, can take a little longer.
Okay. All right. That's all I had. Thank you.
Very good.
I rescind my mouth.
Yeah, a couple
Gaddis?
questions. First of all, how long is so the Mickey's location there, it doesn't seem like it's been open more than 6 months. How long has that been open? And were they serving alcohol at that location before the Mickey's opened up?
They weren't able to sell at the location prior to the Mickey's opening up. I believe the CUP is associated with Mickey's, and I don't know exactly when that CUP was approved,
No,
but
I'm
it's been a
thinking
measure of months.
if we're
Yeah.
looking at like crime statistics there, I think we want to look after they actually opened and were serving alcohol.
Yeah.
So my question pertains to how long have the doors been open and they've been selling alcohol out of that location?
I had them run the numbers from basically the beginning of this year, which was about the threshold when the CUP was approved. So that
Okay,
was-
so
yeah.
sometime after the beginning of the year, we probably at best have a few months
Correct.
of data, really.
Yeah.
And you were just looking at that location as opposed to, things that would have occurred a block away,
Right.
let's say.
Or across the street.
Yeah.
We denied the store, the lease on the potential liquor store across the street. And yet, here we are.
So what, first of all, that location has issues with regards to, transients, known issues, and I don't know the statistics. Do you have statistics on the types of issues that we're talking about that might be exacerbated by available alcohol at that location?
Are we speaking at the Mickey's location or the
Oh, sorry, the location at
Boulevard.
that this
Torrance
decision
Boulevard.
pertains to.
Right, I was just clarifying.
Yeah.
There were an elevated number of calls at that location, not necessarily alcohol related. And speaking to the business owner when he's come before council before, he makes a lot of proactive calls when he sees things happening. So it's perhaps somewhat inflated due to his vigilance. And there will be some changes. The bus stop that that's very close to that location will be shifting, and so that could potentially have less foot traffic of people that may not be from the area that could be bussed in that are coming to the end of the line for that bus line.
I was unaware that was the end of the line. And
Yep.
second, where's it being shifted to? I'm wondering.
I believe farther. I don't know
So there won't
exactly
be
the end
any
location.
stop right at the corner of Torrance and PCH? That seems hard to believe.
It'll no longer be the end of the line. I don't know if they're shifting
Oh,
it down
okay.
towards the pier longer. It'll just be less focused on that specific location.
Right. And two more questions.
course.
One, what positive will result from starting to sell alcohol at that location besides a business owner being able to expand his revenue source?
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to make a value judgment in that sense. It'll eventually be a policy decision of your recommendation and then the city council. But I believe the driver was mostly that business owner's request to be able to sell.
Okay. And I think you've answered this question because Wayne brought it up, but I was thinking the same thing. We could come back if there's some inclination here to approve this, a change from when we completely ruled this out a couple of years ago. But if there's an inclination to approve this, we would be able to do that with the proviso that say, no alcohol is sold at this location after 8 o'clock at night, right?
I think in this circumstance, we would recommend that happen through the conditional use permit.
Right.
Yes, so yes.
So we would do that here in this hearing as a condition of our approval.
Yeah, I don't believe that this, you were saying that was a floor body of regulations?
Correct. That's the floor of the regulations. I think it would be ultimately trying to conform to if an ordinance is eventually passed by the city council, I think it would be beholden to that. But the planning commission should, I believe, could put additional
restrictions. Should be able to increase or, let's say, condition it above or beyond what the, looking at the provisions in the ordinance as a baseline. And if there's some additional conditions or restrictions you want to apply, you could do it through that conditional use permit.
Okay, so our approval would say you can't sell alcohol after 8 o'clock at night. If we were able to do that, and stick that in.
We'd probably have to consult with the city attorney's office, just.
Wouldn't they be able to appeal to city council anyway?
That was going to be my point. I think that could be a recommendation for the CUP, but if there's something the business owner found onerous, they would have
that sounds
an ability.
Very, very soft and unenforceable.
Well,
in terms of,
yeah.
But then they could overrule. Well, then they're going to overrule us anyway, just like they did for the rest of them.
The one thing I was going to say too, like, again, we did a CUP limitation on the Mickey's location, obviously, and then we had other things where they had to buzz people in. They had lockable cabinets and all these different criteria we were able to put into it. But the thing is, like, even in that area right now, if you're on the corner of Torrance Boulevard, you can go right across the street to CVS. They sell alcohol, and they're limited by their times. If you go on Pearl Street, just a half block down the way, there's another liquor store there. You can get not only that, but cigars there. They stop at a certain time.
Right.
Ruby, which is another 75 yards away, there's a liquor store there. I think they close at midnight. And there's another one on Sapphire. So within that area, there's 5 or 6 other liquor stores that we have limitations on. So I don't think we would have an issue with. We should be able to put some kind of CUP restriction on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, I was telling the Commissioner Hazeltine, there's about literally 5 liquor stores in the area, and they all have different.
Yeah, no, and you would have the discretion to alter.
As a commission.
At the commission, through the CUP, the applicant would have the ability to appeal that if they didn't agree with it, but,
right.
We would be on pretty solid ground.
Right, yeah, as I say, there's precedent for it, obviously. So, Commissioner Hazeltine, please
Yeah,
go ahead.
did I read something in there about renting vehicles? I'm assuming like Ryder trucks or some U-Hauls or something in there?
Yeah, there was. We talked about that. It said something that the station owners could, if it didn't impair with their ability to, their main function, I guess, selling gas, they could lease trailers and other rental U-Haul kind of equipment type in. It was actually in one of the outlines on it. Yeah, which I was wondering, how could they possibly fit that in there over there? So.
Yeah, I think that was just a vestige of the existing regulations. This isn't in any way altering or adding that to it. Yeah. If it's in there, it's something that's in the existing code and ordinances.
He had a criteria saying like that it had to be fenced off or enclosed, but there was something that they were able to do. And my question was, like, I don't know how they can put that, that location or the other location in South Redondo, the Chevrolet station down in Riviera Village. I was trying to figure out how they could do that. But again, if they wanted to make a change in that, would that be like a CUP change that we would have to review if they wanted to add that or not?
I'm not sure specifically on that, but I believe it's just those are uses that are possible on those sites, but not necessarily anything
so they're already
anyone's
within
pursuing.
the scope of it, so they could do that. Okay.
Yes.
Are they 7-Eleven?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. And you read these things and you think, I'm like, wow, how can that happen? I mean, like you said, it's a remnant of something that probably was done 20 years ago, possibly, right?
Probably much longer than that.
Remnant of the 7-Eleven lease franchise agreement.
Very, very well could be. So Hazeltine, do you have another question?
No, I'm done.
Are there any other questions? I see Commissioner Light.
Yeah,
Mr. Boswell.
I'm just kind of curious of a couple of things here. One, why more haven't applied in the inland area, just the one. And then the other is why it was carved out originally, said no to the coastal, and why they want to say yes now to it. And I get that somebody wants to do it down there. But it seems like the cart's dragging the horse here. So what was the logic of not approving it at the coast then, and what's changed?
As I recall, it was mostly just concern over that specific site on Torrance Boulevard, the site that's come back desiring the sales now. And so it was a way to come to a more easy consensus on it, because I think the council at the time, the sitting District 2 council member, I believe, was not in favor of it and didn't find a compelling case to have it at that Torrance site. And so that was a way to regulate at that time that Torrance site out of the ordinance. And so now the composition and policy bent of this council has changed somewhat on that specific site. And so that business owner's request to take this up again has been taken into account and brought forward.
Commissioner Boswell.
Well, that brings up a whole nother question, but I'll go back to my original thought. So beer and wine only, so they're trying to keep them from selling hard alcohol. But what do we mean by beer and wine? Will they be able to sell, I mean, this is probably, I guess this is for everybody, all the liquor stores that are, or stores that are limited to beer and wine, would they be able to sell malt liquor? Would they be able to sell fortified wines? Would they be able to sell high alcohol foreign beer?
I don't know the exact regulations, but it would fall under Business and Professions Code of the definition of beer and wine. And it's this class of general food items that includes beer and wine, it is exclusive of liquor. So as per the ordinance, we're not doing anything with the proposed ordinance that would increase the prohibition of liquor. Liquor is not included in that general food sales. And so that's one distinction I want to make. But it would just follow the Business and Professions Code regulations, as well as alcohol and beverage control, of what their definitions of beer and wine are, which I don't know off the top of my head, unfortunately, sir.
So we don't know.
Can I suggest a threshold? It's distilled spirits as opposed to fermented spirits.
So
It's
malt liquor's
fermented
okay?
beverages, so,
So malt liquor's okay?
yeah.
And fortified wines are okay?
Yep.
Okay, so why not just?
But we wouldn't be able to have single serving containers. So you wouldn't have a 32 or 40 ounce bottle of malt liquor available. It would be something sold in, multiple packs.
Six packs.
Yeah.
So even more high alcohol beer, even more high alcohol wine. But wine's okay to sell in a bottle. Right?
Correct.
But not in like a wine cooler type of bottle.
Yeah, or like the little cups that have a seal on them, that the single serving.
I don't know where you get those. Where are you hanging out?
I saw them on Shark Tank.
It's a new invention.
Yeah, Copa Divino on Shark Tank. Thank Mr. Wonderful.
Okay, so a 6-pack of something out of Poland that's 25% alcohol but has the name beer on it is okay.
I think it would just have to fit in with the existing legal regulations that any location that sold beer and wine would have.
So if we don't know what those are, how are we going to make a decision on this?
We could look up the definitions of beer and wine as per the alcohol beverage code, if you like.
Well,
It's regulated by
we
alcohol.
could put it off till next week.
ABC regulates that. So we wouldn't have any control over what falls under the
But
definition.
we might use it to decide whether to say yes or no on this. And that's what we're really trying to figure out is this a good idea? I mean, I don't know why the coastal zone was carved out the last time we did this, but my impression was there's already plenty of places for this mass of people who show up here during the warm weather months, congregate down at the coastal area and on the beaches. There's plenty of places for them to buy alcohol. They really don't need any more. And perhaps that's why, and maybe that still holds. I don't know. I don't know what the consensus on the commission is. But since we really don't know, or we don't have anybody reminding us why those two were prohibited in 2023.
Well, I think it's mainly because we do differentiate our city between the coastal zone and non-coastal zone, and that's probably the reason why.
So just because.
And there was a prior council.
Yeah, because we have a local coastal plan, because we have that bifurcation of our city, basically. That's probably what happened. Commissioner?
Yeah, just to clarify, so the planning commission said blanket, we don't, in 23, the planning commission actually said no gas stations to serve beer and wine. It was the council who separated off.
Right.
And it was because of incidents that had been taking place
And the police said
at
not a
that
good
particular
idea.
location. So anyway, just to fill in the background on that, that's all.
Very good. So can I get a motion to open, sorry, for public comment?
Public comment, yeah.
Motion to open public comment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any member of the public wish to speak on this item in present? No speaker cards?
Nah, they're all drunk.
Oh, geez. Anyone online?
We have no one online and we have no speaker cards.
Okay.
Is the owner of the gas station here?
He is not.
Well, this isn't really, this isn't a CUP for them, so this is just an ordinance change. So he wouldn't be here at this point.
So yes, they
He's
got
the guy who
a
started it.
CUP anyway to do
Right,
it.
he would come back, and when he applied for it, he'd have to get a
We
CUP.
could approve this, but deny his station.
I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
And a second?
All in favor?
Hilarious.
Aye.
Okay, motion, public hearing is closed. Any other discussion? Mr. Hazeltine?
Yeah, I just wanted to make it clear that the reason that the Planning Commission didn't want this to go forward in 2023 was because we know that we have increase in crime when we have point of sale where people take alcohol off. We know we have increase in violence. We have increase in automobile accidents. So as a commission, we spent hours deliberating and presenting research and data, and we had, pretty much a full, many people speaking on it. So it wasn't, we didn't just do it lightly. And I feel the same way about this. This is 2 blocks from the beach. We don't need another place selling beer and wine. We're basically doing it for one business owner. And we have a whole community that lives there. We have a lot of people living there. We've got the pier, we've got et cetera. People don't need to pick beer and wine up and get in their car. So I don't think it's actually a great idea.
Are you making a motion?
Do we have any other questions?
Any other questions? Commissioner Boswell?
I agree. We spent a good portion of that evening going over a lot of scientific and expert studies, data, and everything. When it came to the city council, and if you don't believe me, go back and look at the video, the city staff member downplayed that entire thing by saying, yeah, they cited some studies, and that was pretty much, basically poo-pooed the whole thing, and the city council went ahead and approved it. I really hope that whoever in the city staff is going to be representing what we've said here, which is basically ditto of last time, and that they're going to do it, they're not going to do it disingenuously like they did last time. And there's absolutely no reason to have more sources of beer and wine, especially that close to our high traffic recreation areas, and especially because in the warm weather months, the place is jammed with people who want to party. So I don't think it's a good idea.
Commissioner Knight?
I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Conrad.
Go ahead.
Conrad, I didn't see you, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, just historically, the idea of going in and grabbing a beer while you're driving, since it can't be open, it's illegal to do that. It's not encouraged. I mean, growing up, I'm old, but back then, I don't drink and drive, you might spill your beer was the earlier version, but the later version was you shouldn't have any alcohol in, and that's why it was against the law to sell at gas stations. I don't know what's really changed here, and I do get that I wasn't here in 23, so I wasn't on that group that heard that testimony, but my inclination is that they want to sell this there. One group wants to do that for something that's against the code. And we're going to change the code here tonight. And if we don't, the council's going to change the code here. But we'll still have to do the conditional use permit, but then the council will let them do it also. So it seems like kind of a useless exercise, but it does seem to me that we should stand our ground to do what's right, even if it's not going to go anywhere. My
Great. Mr. Conroy.
Personally, I can support this because it doesn't create an automatic entitlement, but rather does creates a CUP path, and that each applicant still has to come in front of this commission with site-specific reviews and conditions that we could put in place. So because of that, I move that we recommend the City Council adopt an ordinance amending Redondo Beach Municipal Code Title 10, Chapter 5, Section 10-5.1602 pertaining to general food sales inclusive of beer and wine at service stations, and determine such amendments as exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act.
So that's your motion?
That's your motion.
Do I have a second for that? I will second that. I agree with Commissioner Conroy. I think that while I loathe having another liquor store right down the street, and just so you all know, I live very, very close. I'm probably the person that lives the closest to this location. And I've seen a lot of crazy things happen on that corner over the years. I live literally just 2 blocks away. As I mentioned before, there are probably 6 different locations you could buy alcohol within a rock. You can almost throw a rock and hit over there. I'm more concerned about the liquor store around my corner, where on actually on a Saturday night after one of the restaurants has like a little outside concert, there's 4 people drunk passed out in my front yard. And I had to put cameras up around my house because people would throw up and throw their trash and barf over the front yard. So I know what problems have on that. I just don't know if this is necessarily something that's really going to accomplish much. I mean, across the street at CVS, someone can walk right in and buy whatever alcohol they want. Pearl Street, which was right across the street from the location we turned down, you can buy alcohol there. Ruby, another 70 feet away, you can do that. I don't know if this is going to accomplish much. While I understand the sentiments, I do agree with Mr. Conroy. I think we at least have an ability to control it and regulate it better. We could put restrictions on it like we did with the Mickey's location. With the Mickey's location, I looked up online, I think they opened it actually in March, so it hasn't been open that long. And so if there's been a detrimental impact in the neighborhood, I mean, I'm sure it's something we'll hear about at some point. So at least if we, we have some control of this at this point. I'm still talking, Mr. Boswell. Thank you very much.
I'm still pointing.
I know, I could see you. I'm trying to do my rubber heading around to make sure anyone else is going to talk. So that's why I would second that. Mr. Boswell, you had a question, or?
I have a comment to make. This is the Planning Commission. It's our job to do the right thing for the people of Redondo Beach. It is not our job to make sure some guy's investment is good or bad. He decided to buy a gas station and build a business on that corner, and should be fully aware of what the regulations and the rules in Redondo Beach are. And now he's trying to get us to change the law for him and his business. It's not our job to make sure his business is successful. He needs to be a better businessman if he's not successful running a gas station on a busy corner. So I think this is, it may not change much, but it's a slippery slope. And if we don't do it now, then eventually every gas station in the city, and who knows how many more will pop up because they can sell beer and wine. I mean, it's a slippery slope. You've got great stories of negative impacts that this is not going to help and could make worse. And yet you want to go ahead and let them do this.
I didn't say that. I said there have been instances in the past, and I'm telling you what happened in the past. But I can tell you right now, that's not that big a deal. I'm more concerned about the restaurants around the corner that have parties and coming in drunk after that.
Maybe if there are complaints about the restaurants, then they get
we do
sanctioned.
I got the
but to add one more source that close to where we have large crowds of people is just a bad idea. It's clearly this is clearly before us because somebody wants us to help him improve his business, and it's not our job. It's our job to do what's right for the people of Redondo Beach. And I don't think that having people coming here by the thousands from all over Southern California, drinking and going crazy or whatever they do, is good for the people of Redondo Beach. I don't think it is. I definitely think this is a bad idea.
Well, like I said, if you're worried about that, from Torrance Boulevard and Prospect till you pass 3 liquor stores before you even get to where this location is.
I'm not saying that there aren't other places for those same people
We
to
have a
buy.
motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second.
Unless there's a friendly amendment, we should vote.
Is there an amendment that you wish to make or a change?
You want to amend the motion?
No,
Okay.
but I'll vote against it.
Is that, and that's your prerogative. Does anyone else want to offer a friendly amendment to my
Any other
motion?
friendly amendment?
Nope.
Then let's go to a roll call vote.
Okay, roll call vote, please. Jamal.
Commissioner Light,
No.
Commissioner Boswell,
No.
Commissioner Young,
No.
Commissioner Gaddis,
No.
Commissioner Conroy,
Yes.
Commissioner Hazeltine,
No.
Chairperson Craig.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to deny Resolution 2026-5-PCR-06.
And point of
And I'll second
clarification,
that.
or if I may, Chair, we do have a resolution similar to the resolution from the last Planning Commission meeting on this that that states that you would not, recommending that the city council not adopt this ordinance.
Yeah.
And it has a finding, I think, speaking to Commissioner Hazeltine's documentation that she referenced. She referenced it again tonight, so it's in the finding for denial. So we certainly can pull that up, and you could take a look at that, and then if you so choose to make a motion to adopt that resolution, it's available for this body to adopt.
Sure, we can look at it. Is it short?
Very.
I mean, okay, very short,
Very,
okay.
pull it up.
Then let's have a look at it.
Yes.
Because we don't want to put a lot in that, because we do want to read these carefully before we
Yeah.
vote on them, right?
It mirrors the exact language that was
It
used.
just says the word no on it, right?
Yeah.
But if you put it the bold capital.
And then that's just the recitals of the history. And then the noticing requirement, and then the actual, there's
Well, hold
the
on, slow
CEQA
down.
finding, and then
Okay,
number
right,
2A,
okay.
if you scroll up a little.
Not in the best interest of the public's health and safety is claimed LA County Department of Public Density and alcohol-related consequences documented. Okay, so that was referenced in the prior meeting in 23, right?
Yes.
Wait, let's see. Moderately high density. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. 3, do not require, right? Boom, 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 and everything else is boilerplate. Yeah, okay. My motion is to adopt this this resolution 2026-05-PCR-06. But isn't it confusing because the one in the agenda has the same,
Yeah, it doesn't look the same.
it's the same number.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
we'll say replace the one in the
Yes.
agenda with the one that you're showing to us right now.
Correct.
So that's my motion. Do I have a second?
I have a second, yeah, second.
Okay.
But all the dates are going to change and
No, the date's correct in this one that they just showed us.
well, yeah,
Go ahead and move down to the date.
but then you have
It's-
to add dates at the end of that they came back here.
No, it's further up. Oh, there it goes. 21st day, May 2026.
Yeah.
That's-
so
oh.
You guys know this was going to happen. We're
We
already
wanted to be
prepared.
ready in the
You're ready,
event.
just
How
in
did you
case.
guess?
Oh, okay.
Sean was
So
a
we
Boy
have a
Scout.
motion
He's
and a
prepared.
second.
One
You have
real
an
quick-
amendment?
Is there any other?
Real quick question on that, though. That research was from 2022, 2023. Is there any newer research? Anyone done any?
I looked it up again and pulled up my information, and it's a report that the county did in 2020, and they're still referencing, they haven't updated that report, and they have the statistics in there, and,
There's nothing newer, but it's,
well, there might be, but I
But-
just pulled up
Alcohol's been
that
around a long
county
time.
That's true.
information. What?
Alcohol and people have been around a long time, so
This is the Tigris and the Euphrates River were formed,
I
yes.
think we're ready for a roll
But I
call.
think
there's
what's
more.
really, in
Oh.
you guys, just real quickly, when I was looking at so, we're looking at a gas station and walking out with alcohol, which is a different thing. And it specifically talked, which is so sad, it talked about Redondo Beach really controlling its point of sale alcohol like that in comparison to Hermosa. We've had really good ordinances, so we don't normally have these problems. I mean, obviously that was written before the city council changed it all. But yeah, it was kind of sad, that we've been so careful in comparison to our next city over and then the cities around us.
And I lived in Hermosa Beach in the 80s. It was insane.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second. We've had, you had an amendment or?
Well, people have been able to speak.
Right, you may speak. That's what I'm calling, I'm calling on you.
Right,
You had a question, so.
So point of clarification, even if city council approves this, it still has to be approved by the coastal commission, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
So the buck doesn't stop here. The buck certainly doesn't stop with city council. So I'm trying to figure out how to agree to this motions. And so far what I've heard is, why do we need one more place that's selling alcohol? Well, there's many, many places that are selling alcohol, and currently people, all they have to do is cross PCH and they can buy alcohol at CVS.
So they don't need this,
So,
do they?
excuse me.
One at a time, one at a time, please.
So allowing this place to sell alcohol as well is not going to make a material effect on the ability to buy alcohol in the area, in my judgment. So that was one argument. Another argument was, well, we voted no before and the city council still voted yes. So we're going to show them and we're going to vote no again. And if they want to vote yes, they can. And that feels a little bit, and this is my interpretation, but it feels a little bit to me like sour grapes,
Holy shit.
That should be.
Fermented grapes, maybe.
One voice at a
Distilled
time.
grapes.
Let's be respectful. We're all one at a time talking,
Yeah,
please.
be respectful, yeah.
Doug, I'm going to tell you again, please let someone talk. I mean, I give you a lot of leeway, which we're friends.
He's not talking because you're talking.
Doug, come on, please. That's not.
So again, what I was trying to find out is some argument other than those two that may be compelling, and so that I would vote in line with this motion. Thank you.
I would reiterate the point that this is a gas station. Gas stations are in cars, shouldn't be drinking and driving. You have to walk to the CVS or go to drive across PCH, which is not that easy, to go get the alcohol. And yes, you're in a car there too, but it's a different concept and it is messaging. And to me, that's the argument.
Because they sell gas.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Commissioner Hazeltine, you had your.
Are you good now?
No, I heard what he said. Did you have something to add?
It's not, we're going to do this, council's going to do that, we're going to do this, they're going to do that. That just so happened to be the case, right? But I haven't changed my opinion on the fact that, you really want to go off topic. We've got this council fussing over pot shops, weed shops, and yet they're perfectly fine putting alcohol everywhere. Okay, one messes with your brain this way, the other messes with your brain that way. And so why we need another situation, it's a really, really busy corner. We've got people going down to the pier there. It's literally 2 blocks, you're down at the pier. If we want people buying alcohol, they should probably be buying it down at the pier if they're going to be buying it. Regardless, I personally don't like the idea of gas stations selling alcohol. So I can't decide that, it's okay because they do it all the other places. So I haven't changed my mind on that.
Okay.
All right, enough. And any other amendments or second?
I have a mouse over here.
All right, well, I was going to call on you. Go ahead. Mr. Boswell.
All the things we cited last time are still relevant. They're still important. We haven't had the police department chime in on it this time, but I doubt their opinion about more places to buy alcohol has changed. We gave 8 gas stations the ability to do this, and the only one who decided to do it did it because he's hacked off a piece of his gas station and made it a franchise for a deli. wants to sell a beer with your sandwich. I get it. The rest of them didn't. I wonder why. Maybe it's because they're experienced gas station owners and they said, we do not need the extra trouble that selling beer and wine, the kind of people it might attract to our gas station who maybe aren't even buying gas. Maybe they know something from experience that we don't know. And frankly, gas stations are where a lot of the bad stuff happens when people buy alcohol there. So it's not about sour grapes, and I'm insulted that you should use that term. If anything, you're the one with the sour grapes because you didn't get what you wanted. It's not tit for tat. What the city council did last time was egregious, and I tried to give some instruction to staff to make sure it doesn't happen that way again. That's not sour grapes. That's not tit for tat. That's just trying to plug the holes that this made, through which this made it through the city council last time. So there are plenty of places to buy alcohol. If they can't buy it at that gas station and all they have to do is walk across the street to CVS, we have not harmed the community at all in their search for alcohol. All they have to do is cross the street. There is absolutely no compelling reason to grant this change. Absolutely none, except if we decide that we want to help some guy become more successful in a business that perhaps he needs to work a little harder at.
You have a vote on
We have a
business.
Okay, so we
motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second. We have no substitute motion, so I guess we should do a roll call vote at this point.
Commissioner Light,
Aye.
Commissioner Boswell,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Aye.
Commissioner Gaddis,
Aye.
Commissioner Conroy,
No.
Commissioner Hazeltine,
Yes.
Chairperson Craig.
No. So the motion carries, and do you have the language, I believe?
We
So-
do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did I do a gavel?
On the
Right.
Jays.
Radio.
You should on the Jays.
Indeed. We still agree on 99% of the stuff in the city, so. Indeed. Okay.
Doug, I still love you.
That's what you said to your ex, isn't it?
Jeez.
I love you much more than her.
Oh.
Oh, you're
Okay.
My ex?
We're a very inclusive city, so that's
okay.
fine.
You said my ex,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you did,
Yeah,
you did.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good that you clarified that, because
Yeah.
we wouldn't want to hear a news story tomorrow that would be
All right.
unfaithful.
No. No.
Okay, so now we're on item J2. Okay, so I guess we'll start item J2. This is discussion, consideration, and possible action on an exception declaration and variance for a reduced front yard setback, side yard setback, rear yard setback. I feel like I'm in slow motion. And reduced outdoor living space for first and second story additions to an existing single family residence on property located within a low density multifamily residential R2 zone.
All right.
Motion to open public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our senior planner, Stephen Jiang.
All right.
Spelled correctly.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you
Good
for that
evening.
correction.
I'll be presenting this item tonight at 2606 Green Lane, a variance request for a single-story, for a addition to a single-story residence. The project overview, the zoning is R2, low-density multifamily residential. What's there now is a single-story residence at 1,251 square feet. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the front yard setback, the side yard setback, the rear setback, and the reduced open space size requirement. On the image, you'll see the lot in blue here in comparison to the other lots in the area. The site conditions, the lot was created in the early 1900s. The original home was built in the 1950s. The lot size itself is 2,850 square feet. keep in mind that in the city of Redondo Beach, the minimum lot size now is 5,000 square feet. It's considered standard, so this is well below substandard. And the average lot sizes around range from 5,000 square feet to 7,500 square feet. Some of the lots in the immediate area, if you look at the ones on Green Lane, some of these are substandards like 2605, and even the one right above at 2,000 Graham, that one is just under 5,000 square feet. So there's a mixture of substandard lots in this area. Oh yeah, in this picture, the red is the open space for what's available. The green is the existing home, and the blue is the property line. So you can see how it's already constrained. The existing rear yard setback to the east is about 4.5 feet. The north side yard setback existing for the garage is about a foot, and the front of the house is just over 5 feet. And the south of the property, which has no issues with either the existing or the proposal, is, I believe, at 8 feet away. So here's some of the images of the existing lot to give you a sense of scale. The front, the 5 feet front looks a lot bigger on, I think, the site plan than it does when you look at the images. But this is the existing home. So the proposed project itself, it's asking for multiple additions. It's asking for a 104 square foot garage addition to expand the garage forward about 5 feet. There will be an addition at the rear of the home to accommodate a new master bedroom. There's going to be a partial conversion of the garage at the back to accommodate that, and also essentially add on to the master bedroom. On the second floor itself, they're adding a total of 776 square feet and a 12.5 square foot balcony. It should be noted that the area above the garage itself is not habitable space. It's just attic space with dormers. And so they're well below the required 7 feet clearance for ceiling to what's considered habitable space. And I'll show you guys more of that in the coming slides. And then in the back, they're expanding the rear yard deck to give a more usable, it's a bigger deck since they're losing some of their deck for the master bedroom. Here are some of the elevations in comparison to what's the existing height now in red. This is what the neighbor to the direct north will see. So the garage itself will not have windows, but a vent. The neighbors to the east side property line will have these dormers in the attic for the garage. This height limit here is 23 feet. This height limit at this peak is 27, and the required height limit for the zone is 30 feet. So both are pretty well below the height requirement. And then here's the master bedroom addition. So they're adding on here to the side of the garage. It should be noted that, and you'll see that later, that none of the facades are asking for an increase in the nonconformity. They're just trying to match what's already there with the existing facades. So this is the first floor plan. The green represents the additions that's being added, and the blue is what's being converted. The conversion of 64, this is already there, so they're adding these walls here so they can have the master bedroom come out this way. So this is gonna be a bathroom for these guys. And then this is gonna, this front garage addition will allow them to maintain the 2-car garage at the lengths needed for the cars. And again, these walls, they're not demolishing these walls. So these are existing walls for the garage here. They're not demolishing any of these walls. They're just adding on top of it for the dormers and the attic space, and they're expanding it forward to match the facade. Same with the rear yard. So the master bedroom addition, they're not increasing the nonconformity. They're just trying to match what's already there. And in the front, there's some interior layout changes to accommodate the staircase. And in the front, they're adding decorative stone elements to allow for a new entryway into the foyer. Here is the second floor plan. So all of the habitable space will be over on the green, the attic, the blue, where the dormers will be. And this building line below is actually gonna be where the new master bedroom is being built. And so none of the second floor addition for the green technically is gonna be over what's new on the back portion. And then here's the 12.5 square foot small balcony in the front yard. So in total, the applicant is asking for 4 variances. They're asking for a variance to 4.8 feet in the front to match the existing facade. They're asking for a variance of about 1 feet to match the existing north side facade. They're asking for a 4.5 feet variance for the rear to match the facade. And they're also proposing to decrease the outdoor living space for this property to 713 square feet from the required 800 square feet. And the reason for that is because the master bedroom here takes apart their old backyard, and so they don't have the outdoor living space requirement for it. For the findings, the Planning Commission must find that the property's irregular size and depth and the existing setback encroachments create a unique hardship justifying the relief from standard yard and outdoor open space. Specifically, the size and depth of the property makes it difficult to develop the subject property according to the standard development requirements for an R2 zone. As per the ordinance, if the applicant were to maintain the required setbacks, 800 square feet, the request would be essentially much less significant than the area around it and what's enjoyed by the area around it. And on the right, there's an image of what it could look like if we were to tie the applicant to the setbacks and what they could add on to based on the zoning. So the red is the buildable area for this property using the much more stringent setbacks. The table on the left also showcases some of the homes in the immediate area and their sizes. So keep in mind, these are sizes without the garage. So, we have the home, they're a range of 2,500 square feet up to 2,900 square feet, and the proposal for this request is, I believe, 2,200 some change on the 2,200 what was it? I think 35 square feet. So and in this case, 2,325 square feet. And then in this case, it's 1,864 square feet when you don't include the garages to match like the other home. So I think what the applicant is requesting is pretty modest compared to what's in the area, especially since the area contains a lot of R2 zone properties that have duplexes on them, and their lot sizes accommodate that space as well. So as such, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the exemption declaration and grant the variance for reduced front yard setback, side yard setback, rear yard setback, and reduced outdoor living space for a first and second story addition to an existing single-story, single-family residence on a property located at 2606 Green Lane within an R2 zone. That concludes staff presentation. Staff is available and the applicant is here as well if you have any questions for them.
Very good. So I see questions, mouses of questions. Commissioner Conroy?
We've heard requests like this previously where there was substandard size lots. I think the last time it was ultimately approved by this commission. At the time, I didn't agree with it, and I kind of don't agree with it now for the following reasons. This lot's been the same size lot for a long, long time since it was created, right? Way back when. It seems to me that it wouldn't be fair to force them to change the size of the existing structure, but it looks like what they're trying to do is just blow it out to the absolute maximum to probably increase the value of the property. But again, when whoever bought it, those restrictions were in place. So it just seems like a way to make a lot more money on the property. And here's another thought of mine is, we strive for more affordable housing in Redondo Beach. I went on Zillow. The property in its current state is worth $1.2 million. And you could say, well, that's just for the land, but the land comes with the current restrictions. So I would just say, if it were up to me, I would say you can build within the current footprint that you have, but I'm not currently convinced, and I'll hear from other commissioners, but I'm not currently convinced that we should allow them to essentially build it to the lot lines all the way around. Thank you.
Mr. Hazelton.
I do have a question. The front of the house is the property line, or the front of the house is actually not changed. They're not pushing it out towards the lot line, right?
Correct. They're not increasing the nonconformity along the front. The only thing that's changing the front is this garage addition here.
Okay, and then the garage addition is set back a little bit from the front.
Yeah, there's a 14-foot distance from the front facade to where the garage door is going to be.
Right. Okay, we normally hold our comments until after we've closed this, but I don't want the homeowner to be freaking, and I kind of support this. So I don't want him to sit over there and sweat. Okay, that's it.
Mr. Boswell.
I was thinking I was next after my buddy here. So the only thing that has changed as far as encroaching on setbacks is this portion of the master bedroom. Is that correct? And then the front part of the garage. Yeah. That's the only thing that changes from the existing outer perimeter of the actual house, right?
And the second floor dormers on top of the garage, technically, they're matching the facade, but that's new construction.
But that doesn't.
It doesn't change. No, it doesn't change the footprint.
Over the existing.
Yeah, you're correct. It doesn't change the footprint, no.
But this part of the master bedroom does.
Correct.
And what outdoor living space percentage does that leave us with?
So they're required to have 800 square feet, and they're at 713 remaining with this addition.
So there's a whole 713 square feet after this change.
They're keeping,
is still open living space on the ground.
Yes, they're keeping
ground
all
living
this.
Space.
Correct.
Okay. Why don't they just fill the whole lot? I mean,
because they're
not
going
really
to fight them more.
They're not really leaving much. I mean, what can you do? You have maybe a dog run on the side there for a small dog.
They've got a little sitting area.
But you could put trees in there. I mean, in 1900 when this was carved out, I think it's probably what was left over when they created the other lots. Should have been a pocket park or something. But it isn't. It's a house. It's a home. Okay, so I think I have the information that I need. Thank you.
Commissioner Light.
Can you go back to that one you were showing with the footprint, showing what's new? Yeah, thank you. So if I'm reading this right, because the blue is already there, you're just reconfiguring. That
they're just converting part of that blue.
That's already inconsistent with the setbacks.
Correct.
So you're not adding anything more than just extending that same thing. To me, this seems like a relatively trivial thing, and I don't have any objections to this making it worth more because you need bedroom space, you need a second floor, and it seems like it is conforming with the neighborhood, and I don't see a much difference here because nothing's really, we're not granting any variance that isn't already there.
Yeah, that's correct. We're not increasing the nonconformities in any way.
I don't have a problem with this.
Mr. Gaddis.
Okay, so I'm going to ask one more time, just because I guess I read it wrong. There is no portion of this second floor. Oh, there is a portion. The only portion, okay, I'll rephrase the question. What portions of the second floor are extending, are intruding on the setbacks more than the first floor is doing now?
The front of the garage.
The front of the garage I know is
the balcony.
So the front of the garage here, because they had to add it, this portion is encroaching on the side yard setback.
It's an interesting phrasing. They had to add it.
Yeah, and then it's to fit the two cars, and then this balcony is considered an architectural projection. It pushes out 1.5 feet, but in the zoning code, anything under 1.5 feet is allowed to go into the setbacks, and doesn't trigger a variance in this scenario. So they would be allowed to do this with or without a variance in any scenario for the balcony. So that's why it's not a part of the variance findings for this.
Okay, so the only part of this proposed second floor addition that intrudes upon a setback beyond what the first floor does is that section of the garage. And then
Correct.
this balcony that doesn't count anyway
Correct.
towards that technically. Second question, do we have any comments from any of the neighbors?
Just the one.
The blue folder.
Yeah,
The
we
blue
had,
folder, that was a neighbor? I didn't read that as being
Yeah, we had-
necessarily from a neighbor, but it is?
we had comments from 2012 Graham Avenue, and I listed their sizes on this table as well. They were, I guess, they had a general comment saying that the applicant should just essentially obey the rules.
Yeah.
But I don't think they understood the context of the project because they didn't ask me or come see me. We had the neighbor directly north come and ask about
Is that a neighbor? Or
They
is that just
are-
in the neighborhood?
It's in the neighborhood. They
Okay.
are about 5 houses down.
I'm talking
from
about
us.
the impacted neighbors.
Okay, so we had the neighbor from 2000, Graham, see me personally, and we had discussions about it. Their main concern was that there'd be no windows from the dormers facing his property to the north.
And 2,000 Graham is the corner?
They are directly north, so they're right above, they're here. So there's an ADU here that was built in 2019.
On here, it's just not labeled 2,000
Oh, yeah, so
Graham.
here's this neighbor I spoke with this week.
The house, that's the north.
And
That's
this
2,000
neighbor's
feet.
home is around 2,500 square feet, not including the ADU. And they have an ADU that was built in 2019 at around 1,000 square feet.
The 2,000 Graham, is that the corner house?
Yeah, it's the corner house
Okay.
directly north of them. It's on the screen right here.
Oh,
if you
that's an
wanna see it.
ADU? That's the ADU has a different
Yeah.
address?
That's an ADU, yeah.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
So
So
they
he's
were
the
only
property
concerned about
owner
the
of
windows?
2608.
He wanted to make sure there wouldn't be a privacy impact from the garage dormers.
Didn't care about that.
But that was the main discussion that we had. But in the elevations, you'll see that there's a
Yeah.
vent there instead. So this elevation is what he would see. And so there's just a vent here, and that's why he didn't submit any
And no
further
window.
comments.
I got you.
Right.
So these other windows on the side weren't a concern?
They're,
Actually,
I
it
think the
wasn't.
distance away from them
Yeah.
isn't, and I think he's looking more at the perspective of the ADU because there's an ADU directly north of them.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want whatever was here peering down right into
And
the
that's his ADU.
That's his ADU.
So he's the
yes.
property, so he's actually the 2008, so the direct,
Next one up.
the owner of 2008, which is the address of the ADU,
Oh, yeah.
is really what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I wasn't done with my questioning yet.
Can you?
Are there any, such as, for example, 2008, which is the ADU, or anyone else around there, so we're really talking about 2002 Graham as well, or 2604, did any of them build second floors that encroached, encroached like this is proposed to do?
Yeah, so a lot of the homes in this area are already, like 2002, for example, is encroaching on that side yard setback. But
Oh, yeah.
because the zone here is R2 for the whole entire area, it's different. There's a lot more leniency for the size, and so it is restrictive, but they can build a lot bigger. And there's no FAR either for the R2 zone. So a lot of the homes here do already encroach on their setbacks. But for example, I'm used to looking at a map and scrolling, but for example, these guys to the south, they just have much bigger homes and have, because the lot size is so large.
Are those allowed by right to encroach, or were those approved to encroach?
That I don't know.
If I were to build
because
that building right there, 2002, today,
you would not get the same building.
I would not have the same building there, would I?
Correct.
Okay, how would it be different?
4 feet.
You would need a
I'm
5-foot
listening to
setback
that.
off
Okay.
the sides. So you need a 5-foot setback off the side.
Yeah,
You need a
there's
20-foot.
setbacks on a lot of them.
Yeah, so a lot of them are close to the property line. Maybe the survey might show something different.
And the GIS, there's a kind of a lag in it, so that's not a precise property line that you're looking at here. The aerial imagery is a little bit skewed
Yeah,
from what
But
on
also
the
these were
ground you'd
built when the
see.
setbacks were smaller.
Right.
It's possible. I didn't pull up the history of these properties, and it could be like what Sean said. It could just be the aerial imagery not lining up 100%.
Yeah, it's more
but-
likely that if these are new, fairly, 1980s and forward, they're going to have the
Yeah,
required
like
setback.
2000 is a good example because this is a newer build, so you can see their property line fence here. and the line's not lining up, but they should have had a 5-foot setback distance required. And
That looks like pretty new construction, just looking at it from
yeah,
the street.
these 2,000 Graham is relatively newer from what I gather.
Okay, so am I, I mean, I'm looking at these structures around it, 2608, 2000, the 2002 Graham, that looks recently constructed. I mean, that's a design scheme that we're still seeing right now in these types of structures. And if I look over here at even 2604, that looks really recent as well. I mean, so these are not like homes that were built in the 1950s that are surrounding them, and yet they all, and well, not necessarily 2604. I can't really tell from.
It's newer.
Doesn't, yeah, it's newer, but I don't see that it encroaches.
No.
I guess my point is, if people have been constructing things completely surrounding this that all encroach on this, and this person basically wants to do the same thing, it kind of weakens my argument that, you know, I could come at this and say, well, rules are rules, you know, just because this thing was built screwed up in the 1950s, you know, we ought not allow this person to build a second floor on here if it's going to encroach. But in fact, everyone he's encroaching upon, the neighbors, have already done this, right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that weakens my initial thoughts at looking this. Okay.
Complete your own argument. Yeah.
Okay.
I had one question before I get to some of the other folks. The balcony that you said there, which in the real estate jargon, we call that a Juliet balcony, meaning that you could barely put your foot on it and before you'd fall off.
Yeah,
so it's more of an architectural design element than anything functionality. In fact, a lot of these Juliet balconies don't even have windows that open.
Yeah, this one does have a door, but it is it's only 30 inches protruding. Yeah, you can be just one person out there enjoying the view.
Open it.
Exactly. Yeah, you'd be smashing the windows. They usually open inward, actually. And then the other point to Commissioner Gaddis is, like, I was looking at the street view on just on Google Maps, and the one adjacent, it looks like it's probably been built in the last 15 years, and it's virtually the same architectural style as the one that's being proposed here, and it's. Any other observation too? So apart from the balcony, the garage is about the only area that's actually extending into the existing footprint of the beyond the footprint of the existing house. So okay, who should I call on next? I will go on Commissioner Hazeltine.
Yes. Just to be clear, you know, we have had small projects or small lot sizes like this before us, and we have okayed them. If this was an 8,000 square foot lot and they were asking to go into 5 and 15 or 20 foot setbacks, it wouldn't even come in front of us. So the reason we even consider this is because it's such a tiny lot. So, you know, just so everyone's clear on that.
Mr. Conroy.
Yeah, going back to the question about the second floor, you said it didn't encroach beyond the current wall back there or the new proposed wall that bumps out for the master bedroom on the first floor?
It doesn't go over the only thing that goes over the new master bedroom is going to be the new roofs, but the attic space is not going to go over the new master bedroom. So here you can see the new master bedroom on this line.
Okay, that
here.
helps. That helps. So
Yeah,
that's where you see the first floor goes out further
right
on the second
right.
story.
And this blue line could be extended further this way, but
Gotcha.
if you look at the elevations, the roof lines, for example, show the master bedroom roof line, and then here's the separate roof line here for the garage attic.
That's great.
That's a good angle.
Next question. The rear deck on that, does that count towards the outdoor living space?
It does. It's allowed.
No, it's
you
a
are
deck.
allowed.
Is that
Yeah, you
common
are allowed
throughout?
to use the deck, and it is under. It's a smaller deck. It's under 30 inches from the floor, so it is allowed.
Standard on all new construction, and it for
No, but
calculating
they already had a deck out here. So on the existing plans, they had a deck already, and the master bedroom was going to be built on top of the deck, and now they're extending the deck over to the side yard more, and then having a staircase here to go up to it.
So that's not standard either, but they're
trying to
asking
essentially
for
keep their
it
deck
as
space
well.
that they lost from the master bedroom
Okay.
addition.
And then last question, I don't know if you know this information, but when did this home last When was the last purchase? When did it last change hands?
That I don't know. I don't know if Michael knows.
Should we
Oh,
hear from the
yeah,
applicant?
if you want, I'm sorry, if you're the applicant, please, if you want to come up, just
Yeah,
please.
can you come to the mic,
Say your
please?
name and just to, also need you to swear you in. Please say your name and do you
My
promise
name
to
is
swear this?
Michael O. I'm an agent for the
Okay, and
property owner.
oh, you're the
She's been
agent for the
living
property
there
owner.
for about 40 years.
Okay, well, first, do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So you're an agent representing the owner of the
Yes.
property? Okay.
Real estate agent.
She's been living there about 40 years. And this property is sitting so low from the ground, and around surrounding neighbors, all two-story, pretty recent constructed duplexes, the two houses on per lot. So all the setback is a lot smaller than this property. Even the front, the setback is a lot closer than our entry. And the garage is actually 20 feet setback from the street on this house, even with the addition. So we are meeting that, and then just front entry, we tried to create a little bit of a entry look. That's what we kind of extended that little balcony out.
So question.
Said 40 years, 40 years. she's
Yes,
lived
more
there.
than 40
Okay,
years,
40.
yes.
The existing.
Yeah.
40.
So it's not somebody built, bought the property and tried to rebuild it. No, she's been there for almost forever. And all the neighbors have all this, big building footprint, and she's sitting really low to the ground. So she wanted to
So the current owner is
improve it.
planning on living in the property?
Excuse me?
The current owner is remodeling it with the intention of staying in the property, living in the property? So the remodeling is being done for the current owner, for them to live in it?
She's going to live there.
Okay, so she's planning to move
Yes.
back in after the construction?
Yes.
Okay.
You're not going to help her sell it?
No, she's happy there. She's very happy she bought it at that time. So
Very good.
And Michael is, to clarify, Michael's the architect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another question from Commissioner Boswell? You have your mouse up? Well, actually, you know what? I want to be fair because Commissioner Young has been dominating all the conversations tonight. Commissioner Young, would you like to go ahead?
Mr. Boswell had his hands up.
I know
before me.
you
He can
can't
go.
stop talking, but please.
Okay, I would like to say I very much respect the idea of adding a master bedroom to the ground floor of a home. I think that is really important in this day and age and in this community where there has been this huge uptick of homes with bedrooms only above a full flight of stairs. So while I like that, I'm curious what defines in your guys' eyes an attic space?
In the building code, it's technically anything where the ceiling height is under 7 feet in height.
Okay,
So it's not meant for you to be able to live in or traverse in. Maybe the point of the ceiling might be tall enough, but because of the way the ceiling angles, when you're walking towards the dormers, it's going to be 4 or 5 feet as you get closer and closer to the wall.
okay. How is that, I don't want to use the word enforced, but I don't know what other word to use. How do we make sure that that isn't used as living space in the future?
So during the building permit process phase, when they come in for building permits, there is a whole set of plans that come in for structural engineering, and those calculations are going to be based on, so the applicant will have to give them calculations for square footage. The building division will have to match that to what the planning approval was. I will also be a part of that review. And so when the project comes back in and they apply for everything and they go through the plan check, I'm a part of the last step where I have to review what was gone through building and safety. And I'm also checking for square footages. So if the square footages don't line up, because building and safety's definition of the 7 feet, if, for example, they're going at 8 feet or 9 feet on the ceiling heights, building will mark that and they will change the square footage. And if I see a discrepancy, I will have to flag it and stop it and figure out from there why there's a change in square footage and then tie them to the original approval.
Okay, I ask because I have a small gaggle of children that would be like, oh, look, here is my new playroom, and make it their living space regardless. So is there anything that would define an attic space or something that you could limit, like, what do I want to say, like air conditioning or
Yeah,
heat?
another part of the building code, I'm glad you brought that up. Another part of the building code that defines habitability is whether or not you can have HVAC to it. So if it's
Okay.
ventilated and AC'd and insulated, the building division also defines that as habitable.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
It's like what happens when people try to say they live in their garage when there's no heating or AC.
You get a pass if you're a councilman.
Oh, wait, did I talk about someone in District 3? So in case you wanted to run for office, you could live in someone's garage. Oh, you can't do that, can you? I'm sorry. Just want to make sure.
Okay.
Commissioner Boswell, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Can we go back to
Motion
the
to-
slide of showing the neighborhood
Motion to
from
close the
space?
public hearing?
Well, this is
Oh, I
Mr.
didn't
Boswell.
know
He was still speaking.
So the observation I'm making here is that all of these lots next to it and across the street from it are all, it's like 2000 and 2606. Was that originally one lot that was subdivided?
No, I looked into the records and it doesn't seem like it was originally one lot that was subdivided. These lots were created as is back in the early 1900s. I could not find record because my original suspicion was the same, that they were at some point subdivided. But when I looked into the county data, I could not find any record that a split had taken place.
So did you find any reason why they made this?
I think back then the lot
instead
sizes
of the
were,
one lot that everything
well,
else.
I want to say
everybody
back then
else
the
has?
lot sizes were, there wasn't a minimum lot standard that you needed to create a property in the early 1900s. And so I think if I had to guess, maybe that's why these lots were created that way, but I could not find
Why?
that there wasn't a minimum, there's no minimum back then. That's the only thing I could figure out on why this lot was created this way. But otherwise I cannot find any other reason why this exists, because if you look at down across the street, 2605 with 1935 is built in a very similar fashion.
Yeah.
And these are both also substandard, but I just cannot find any record of
Looks
why
like
they created them in this configuration.
Well, and plus the part that this, I'm going to say plus
Yeah,
one part
excuse
you
me,
shouldn't be
I'm
aware.
talking.
Well, actually, I'm going to pound the gavel on you, but this part of the city was not actually part of Redondo Beach at that time.
Right, you're right.
So I lived in a subdivided lot in Hermosa Beach that was originally the front yard of the house behind us, and it's very much like this. There was almost no space between us and the structures on each side, and only a little bit more in the back. There was no yard. It was less than what they have, and the front door came out onto the sidewalk. I mean, they just jammed it in. And if you go up a street like I lived on Longfellow from Manhattan Avenue towards Valley, you will see that there are houses right up to the sidewalk, and then all of a sudden there's one way in the back. It's because originally they had big front yards and they put the house in the back, and then the garage behind them, and you access through an alley. So I was just wondering if this is just somebody's attempt at one time to have a second property, so they subdivided, but you see no evidence of that.
Yeah, I could not find in the legal descriptions or any of the historic records that this was that one lot, because I had the exact same idea.
If I may, in many cases prior to the Subdivision Map Act, a lot of lots were created just by simply deeding a portion of your property to a family member. There was no map process as we have today. So that subdivision was just a transfer of ownership of a portion of your property that you described by, this many feet in this direction and this many feet in another direction. So that's, you get a lot of these little portions of a property that were just created by a family member selling it to another family member or to a neighbor with just a rough estimate of the
Something
area of
similar
the
to a
property.
subdivide,
But that
less
became
formal.
legal once that happened because there was no other map act requirement for that purpose.
Plus also remember too, Redondo Beach wasn't necessarily a year-round city at the time. People were often buying homes for in the south part of Redondo on Broadway, they were all summer bungalows.
So my other question, before I get shut down completely here, there were originally 2 bedrooms. It's a 2-bedroom house now, and it's going to be a 3-bedroom.
Just construction.
I don't remember. I don't know if Michael has an insight on what it is now. So it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it's going to be a 3-bedroom, two bath,
3.
3 bath. Yeah, 2 upstairs and
How
2
many
downstairs.
people live there?
Oh, 3, 4.
I don't know how many people live at the property.
How many windows?
I mean, we have somebody who's lived there for 40 years. They're probably, what, at least 60.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what the downstairs master
So
bedroom
is
is
there an
for.
extended family or there
Yeah, it's
Common anyway.
adult
Public.
family
Yes,
members,
they may not
children or whatever living there? Do we know how many people are in this house?
It's possible, but it just wasn't a part of the staff analysis to consider the families and what it was
Well,
for.
I'm just wondering, at this late stage, after settling in for 40 years, all of a sudden a major improvement, I'm wondering if this is an attempt to just flip the house for a lot more money.
Well, yeah.
I wonder if this has nothing to do with making the house more livable and everything to do with flipping the house and taking off. I mean, we sort of just saw that happen with the big apartment building on Pearl. They get the entitlements and then it's for sale. So I don't know, is that, if that were to be the case, that changes the whole outlook on whether this should be approved or not. I'd like to see I don't know that there's any requirement we would have that this person that makes these changes would be required to live there for X number of years. I don't know that we have that kind of overreach.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I'm looking for some input, some comment from somebody that I'm looking down a dead end here, or
Yeah,
am I
that's
onto
not something that is in the planning commission's purview.
I think it's a good to kind of segue into, can we open the meeting to public comment? Anyone from the public have a speaker card, or the applicant, or the applicant's representative, sorry. And please state your name again for the record.
Owners, she's retired, and she has twin sister, and she's going to be joining to living in that house. So that's one of the things. They wanted to have 2 masters, one at the bottom stairs and one at the top. So that's what it's going to be. And owner doesn't have a direct family, but sister does. So that's, that's 2 sisters going to be living in that house. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So can I ask a question? No? Okay.
Any other public comments, or any other cards or online comments?
We have no e-attendees and no public comment cards.
Okay, motion to close public comment?
Motion to close the public.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any motions, or?
Mr. Light,
Mr.
I
Light, I'm
think
sorry, go
had
ahead.
his
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on Commissioner Boswell's point there. I don't think that's any of our business and what their purpose for rebuilding that. I agree with you, that pissed me off about the Pearl place, 14 million or whatnot, but it really wasn't our business to know them, what their intent was, so we didn't have the right to disapprove it for that reason, and I think it's the same with this.
I agree.
I think we all agree about Pearl Street. And,
Well, we've never asked anybody, are you going to sell your house? I mean, maybe after it's built, something happens and they have to sell it. I mean, that's not
you're right.
something we concern ourselves with.
So is there any other motions on the floor, or?
Motion to approve J2 PC 260642.
Have a second. And do we roll call vote?
Commissioner Light,
Aye.
Commissioner Boswell,
Aye.
Commissioner Young,
Aye.
Commissioner Gaddis,
Aye.
Commissioner Conroy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hazeltine,
Yes.
Chairperson Craig.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Approved.
Thank you.
I know. Now we move on to the fun
Yeah,
stuff.
it's exciting, thank you.
That's the first applause we've ever had.
They're excited. We had applause for the
Normally we
gymnastics
get a
studio.
standing ovation. But
Yeah, we're a little disappointed.
These poor guys just want to go
Something we
home, and my question is,
did,
did they look at the agenda to see we still have another item? See?
You have to
Lack
stay
of
for everything.
preparation.
No, you have to stay for the whole thing.
All right.
Is there another one?
Okay,
No, you
next
don't.
item.
No, you don't.
We have one more item.
One more item. You're not done yet.
One more.
Settle in, we got like
Now
order
remember,
pizza.
if you applaud good, we'll sign it quicker, so that's okay. Anyway, we're on item J3, which is a resolution
Come
of
to
the
the gas
Planning
station, give
Commission
us a six-pack.
of the City of Redondo Beach. Okay, let's.
Oh, you can't.
Okay, let's.
on,
We have to keep
come
it
on.
quiet. Let's go. Finding that the proposed 2026 to 2031 capital improvement program, CIP, is consistent with the adopted general plan of the City of Redondo Beach as required by Section 65401 of the California Government Code. Manager Scully, you're up.
Thank you.
Motion to open public hearing.
Public hearing.
Second?
All right, thank you, Chair.
Aye.
All in favor?
Thank you, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. Sean Scully, Planning Manager. So this is our annual action that we take. It's required from of state law. And let me go to that government code section. It's in the planning and zoning law, general plan law. This body is required to review the city's capital improvement program and make a determination that it is in conformity with the city's general plan. So we have to do that on an annual basis. And before I get any further, I want to advise the Planning Commission, we have Jesse Reyes, our capital improvement program manager, on Zoom in case there's some details about the CIP you want to get into. What we provided in the administrative report was a summary of some of the various capital improvement program projects. They're all infrastructure, sewer extensions, repairs, streets, sidewalks, parks, maintenance. So they line squarely up with many of the general plan policies that exist, particularly in the utilities element. And so there's a couple of goals here that I just pulled out that clearly demonstrate in the general plan the city is a goal of the city is to maintain the infrastructure to support residential, commercial, industrial development in the city. There's another goal in that element regarding drainage and storm drainage facilities and maintaining and developing those as required for public safety reasons. So we've got also attached to your administrative report was a document that outlined a number of goals, policies, et cetera, and then a number of those capital improvement program projects that just line up exactly with those goals. Here's another one in the circulation element. There's a lot in the circulation element about enhancing bike lanes and bike infrastructure, and there's a number of projects in the CIP that are directed at that specifically. The other, and so that's kind of the capital improvement program section of what I'll go through tonight. And then the other item that I'm requesting of the commission tonight is recommendations to the city manager related to the budget. So these next couple of slides relate to that. And particularly here, I've got a couple of slides. This first one, I just wanted the commission to be aware of the number of initiatives that the department's working on. And as you can see, that top item, the general plan update, we're going to try to get that finally over the finish line in July. I'm not even going to say try. We are going to do that. And this is something really, really important. Just yesterday, we received our letter from HCD certifying our housing element. So we are buttoned up. And Yeah, that's a big deal.
Well done, well done.
Big deal.
Well done.
Yes, thank you. And then we have all these other elements that we're updating as well: land use, open space and conservation, noise, and safety. And then just this is just a hit list of many items that are coming up this year and into next year. So there's a lot going on that we're essentially budgeted for already. And then I wanted to just put a slide up last year of the recommendations that this body had when we had this similar meeting. And there was residential objective standards, tree canopy requirements to address heat island effect, and that check means that one's underway. Public Works Department is running that. And then there's another one on water capture and on-site stormwater. A lot of that is already triggered with our LID ordinance requirements. And then we got the Catalina from PCH to Francisca to Redondo Avenue area plan. That hasn't gotten on the council's docket, so to speak. So you could make that recommendation again if the body wishes. Then we got citywide bike racks and expanding city bicycle routes, and then a bike path and SCE transmission easements, and all those things are happening and through the Public Works Department. So that's it. Again, if you have any further questions on the CIP, we've got Jesse on the line, and then I can go back to that slide for recommendations to the city manager for bringing it up through the budget process. So with that, we're asking the commission to adopt the resolution of the Planning Commission, finding that the proposed CIP is consistent with the adopted general plan of the city. That concludes staff's presentation.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Manager Scully. Commissioner Gaddis.
Okay, so as the agenda packet was really just asking us to opine that this was consistent with the general plan. Now you're asking us to amend, to do something that wasn't in the packet, and I don't mean this as criticism. It's just that I had prepared for one thing, and it sounds like there's more to it now that we're in this conversation. Add suggestions to the general plan or to the capital improvements budget.
Well, no,
or items or
to the budget, and it would and we kind of we've had multiple discussions about how does this body get their wish list to the council, and this is one of the ways when the city manager comes in and asks for budget, recommendations. It's really asking what kind of projects do you want the city to expend funds on? And so this slide here is the hit list of items that the Planning Commission came up with last year. And so you're right, it was in the administrative report, it's just not in the resolution. Because we would forward those, whatever you come up with as recommendations, we would just simply forward those to the city manager, and then he's going to bring that to the attention of the city council.
Oh, okay. So in the administrative report, I thought I had read it, but I must have missed it. It says somewhere in here that we were expected to have ideas for other things to add that might not be in the capital improvements budget now.
Yes. No, not, it's not, this body doesn't have, with respect to the capital improvement program, your only authority is to say, is it consistent with the general plan or not?
Oh, okay.
The other item is an opportunity to get recommendations that you feel the city should spend resources on. So it's a budget question versus a CIP question.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I were better prepared. I could have sat there and thought about these things. There's no way we can talk about it next meeting?
Yeah, no, you
with
could,
ideas,
because there's a lot of bites at the apple, so to speak.
Okay.
There's a strategic plan that these items, if the council chooses to, let's say, pursue them, that they get put on. And then it's really on the map in terms of execution, right? So even so it's kind of, it's blended in with at the time when council's looking at the budget in case something pops up that they want to dedicate funds to and add it to the budget. But they hit the strategic plan every quarter. So if something, comes up, if you want to have a further discussion about this, it could be added as an agenda item specifically, and we'll get that hit list. It'll probably still be during budget, but I couldn't guarantee it would get on this year's budget, but it would get to the city council for the strategic planning.
Okay,
process.
so
If you need more time.
1 second.
One at a time, please.
I don't see your mouse up here. No, hold on.
I just wanted to clarify something.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and clarify, because
You have permission to
I have
clarify.
a clarification as well. I'm asking. It's probably the same one.
It might be, all I was going to say
Okay.
is could we set aside that part of it
That's
and
exactly
still,
what I was gonna
yes,
say.
yes, just let you speak. Go ahead. Go ahead, my friend.
Can we agendize it for next meeting? That way we're better prepared to come in with ideas. Because I frankly, she's full of ideas all the time. I know she's got a zillion ideas. And I don't mind you throwing out your ideas. I'm just not prepared with ideas. Yeah, these are all yours. Tree canopy, we know that's her. So is it possible for us to have the finding that it is consistent and then set for next meeting? Yes. Will we still be in time to get it into the process?
I mean, it could certainly get forwarded to the city manager, and then he would make the call if he's going to bring it up to council at that time. Otherwise.
Whereas if we do it tonight, he's forced to take it to council.
Well,
is that what you're saying?
Well, it's still his discretion on that,
okay.
But it'll get to the council, either through this immediate budget cycle or as part of the next strategic plan initiative.
And but I mean, is it possible for us to, since you have it sort of, I don't know if it's formally or informally on the agenda, it wasn't actually formally on the agenda that I am able to see. Can we shift that part? I mean, I'm sure a lot of ideas will come out tonight. Yeah. But I would like to take it up also at our next meeting, because I'd like to be prepared for that.
Yes.
And I didn't see it maybe it is written in here in our agenda packet, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, it wasn't in the resolution because we wanted to keep that separate.
Okay. So in terms of our finding, which we should do tonight, no matter what, I just want to say, I was on the General Plan Advisory Committee for seven years.
That's right.
All?
Yeah.
Loved every minute of it.
Yeah, every minute of it. It was awesome. But, I always have fun every year with this thing, because it used to have pictures of the projects. The backhoes digging sand out, pipes going down, and water spraying up in the air, and so equipment and helmets and all kinds of things.
Right.
That's no longer part of the process. Now it's just these dry descriptions, kind of vague, new sewer system required down on, down by the waterfront. So it's just,
we'll get pictures next
I'm not
year.
Complaining. It's just that it's a long list of projects. And detailed, and at least it had entertainment value when we actually had, year-old, maybe 2-year-old photos of the project, in progress at that time.
Okay.
In that. So I again, I'm not complaining, but what I can say to my fellow commissioners is, having been on the General Plan Advisory Committee for 7 years and looking over the list, and I went into every project and looked at it, and indeed, my own opinion, they're all consistent. Okay. Good. So just laying that out there. Thank you.
Commissioner Conrad.
I just wanted to say, first of all, I think it's great that the staff is, and maybe by extension council, wants to hear what our thoughts are on capital improvement projects. as a part of the overall budget process. But to Commissioner Gaddis's point, telling us when we sit down here does not give us any time to give any sort of valuable contribution. And then you said, well, we could put that off till the next meeting, but then that might not end up going in this year's budget. That'll be for next year's budget. That also doesn't seem like it's adequate. So I would only say, to the extent we know when the budget happens and we know the steps. I was on the Budget and Finance Commission for a number of years. We know the steps involved in it. Let's just be more proactive next time so that we can get our input agendized before and it can be a part. That's all.
Absolutely. Commissioner Hazeltine.
Yes, we did discuss these bullet points ad nauseum, and we hit every one of them, and we got agreement and consensus before we put it on this list. So I totally agree. We could do another meeting. It's unfortunate it'll be late, but in the meantime, can we keep the ones that haven't, that don't have the red next to them, the check, and keep those on the list if everybody's okay with that, since we already did discuss them in detail, so that we're at least sending something?
Want that to be part of your motion when
we make a motion.
Okay.
Were these items already considered for a prior budget, or are they being considered for this year's budget?
Prior and this year.
Remember, were you here when we talked? I think you were here when we made this list up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because remember we had a wish list that had been sitting in this wish list category for years.
Yes.
And then we said, hey, well, what happened with it? Well, we can't, not to jump in, but because there was a whole issue that we couldn't make a recommendation or make a either control our agenda, because we weren't allowed to set it, and we couldn't make a direction to the council because we weren't allowed to do that either, but we would have to write a letter to saying, please, can this something you can consider, I guess. So two questions I have on this. If we bring this back for further discussion, are we allowed to do that? Because I know that that's been something we haven't been able to do on some items.
Yes,
So,
you can do that.
So we are allowed to do that, okay.
But we can't act on it unless council concurs with what your
Right.
recommendation is.
Well, yeah, because I kind of know that rule I cited in section 2 where it says we can agendize items provided we are either the council, the city manager, or our staff liaison, which of yourself are allowed to do that. So we are able to do that.
Yes.
Because, and to your point too earlier about the timing, we always know when the budget comes up. It's not like a big surprise. We have to balance our budget by a certain time every year per our charter, right? By July. And it always, my criticism is that every single year, this kind of thing seems to be happening at the last minute to where it's almost like we're here volunteering our time to put our brain power together to come up with some ideas. And it's like we're basically being excluded just by design. And I don't know if you feel that way. I just kind of seem like it's sometimes happens. Not to you.
No.
Don't be hurt.
Wayne, there's 7 bullet points and we have 4 of them.
Well, I think that was cool that there's 4 of them checked, so we were right 4 times at least.
And the other thing that I've learned in these 5 years that I've been here is that when we say things and we say things enough, people hear us.
They do.
So you guys laugh at the whole tree canopy thing, but we say it, and people work on it maybe, hopefully.
Laughing at the tree.
We didn't laugh.
Yeah.
We like tree canopies.
Laugh at your tree canopy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we talked about the farmer's market, and look what happened to those knuckleheads.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not totally lost.
Yeah, okay. Commissioner Geddes.
So we can do both. We can make Gail can make suggestions tonight, and those will go in with our finding, and we will also revisit it on next month's agenda.
Correct. They won't go with the finding. They won't get the CIP. Your authority for the CIP is way different from your budget recommendation request. The CIP, you're limited by law to just say, is this consistent with the general plan or is it not? So that's got to be kind of clean and separate.
Yeah.
The other stuff, that's all a little more, I don't know.
So is it too early to make a motion here?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Oh, we public comment.
First, you have to open up the public comment.
Oh, yeah.
And motion open to public comment.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in the audience wish to comment on this agenda item tonight? Come on, kids, it's your chance.
They went online.
You can prove that you were here. They'll see you on the TV.
There are no attendees that would like to speak at this time.
Okay.
Motion to close public comment.
Get a second? Can I get a second?
Where did
Second.
that start?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, so a motion to pass,
Close the, yeah.
We could just close public hearing.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Keep up, Rob.
Yeah, sorry. Too many motions.
Please go ahead, Commissioner Hazeltine.
a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Redondo Beach, findings that the proposed 2026 to 2031 capital improvement program is consistent and with the adopted general plan of the City of Redondo Beach as required by Section 65401 of the California Government Code.
Second.
And because Commissioner Gaddis told us.
As you stated. There it is.
Okay.
Is there a second for that motion?
He seconded it.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor? Roll call vote, I guess.
Commissioner Light,
Aye.
Commissioner Boswell,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Aye.
Commissioner Gaddis,
Aye.
Commissioner Conroy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hazeltine,
Yes.
Chairperson Craig.
Aye.
And
Motion
then
carried.
what are we doing with the list? How do we,
Jamal, you want to put up the screen? And I think your recommendation
yeah,
to forward to the city manager for consideration to have discussions with council on, as it relates to the budget, would be to consider funding,
the ones that have not been worked on yet,
Correct.
right?
And maybe some
Correct.
additional ones?
And then that we also bring this
Agendize.
back next month and for additional ideas.
Yeah. Seems like a living list.
Do you have anything you want to add to
No,
this?
I'm
At this
good.
point?
Really?
Okay.
For tonight?
No, I'll think of
We'll save
something
it
for
for
next
next
week.
Yeah, but that would miss the budget cycle. Anybody have any?
No,
okay.
No?
I guess not.
I think, do you need, you want to, is there consensus on that?
Yeah,
All in-
so all in favor of the suggestion as made by
To reiterate the current
the current
list?
list on our draft
Yes.
annual budget? All in
And to
favor?
bring it back next
I
month.
second that.
Yeah.
The motion, yeah, that is the motion.
That's the
Yeah,
motion, a
that's the
second?
motion.
And
Second.
do we need a roll call vote or just an aye
No.
vote? It's aye? Okay.
Aye.
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 It carries.
There we go.
Very good.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we're on item K, items continued from previous agendas. I don't believe you have anything. Any items for discussion prior to action? I don't think there's anything there too. Any items from staff?
Yeah, I mean, just the big housing element update was,
Excellent.
that was huge. We were really excited. HCD, we worked tirelessly with them and they turned it around. I mean, we just took it to council and they turned it right around and issued that certification letter. So the door's closed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
For the second time.
so, yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's for
Hopefully
true.
this one stays closed. So yeah, that's really the big news from us. And then just next step, general plan update with land use element will go to, with all of your recommendations, will go to city council the first meeting in July.
Great.
So, and then noise and safety and open space and conservation. And your recommendations are all already included in the materials that'll go to the council.
Excellent, excellent. Commission member items and future commission agenda topics. I just wanted to make one mention is that yesterday, I was feeling really hungry and I happened to be in North Redondo by a farmer's market that popped up on Green Street. And as I was walking around, I was like, there's a great tamale place there. I've never really tried it before. I'm not usually one that goes for tamales all the time because they're a little gritty sometimes, but I got to tell you, the place that's over there was awesome. I got this chili relleno kind of like chili thing. It was the best thing ever. It was only $5.
Woo.
It was good. Of course, I was still hungry and I saw an Indian restaurant next door. There's a Japanese place there and a pizza place. So anyway, I just want to say, if you're out and about in North Redondo on Wednesdays from 2 to 7, check it out.
Those were all at the market?
At the market.
Wow.
And first week we opened, we had 2,300 people show up. And each week, we've been doing more and more revenue, more business for the city. We have 3 produce vendors that show up that are doing awesome jobs, probably the best strawberries I've ever had. So definitely come by, check it out. Mr. Scully, I'll make the offer again. You come by, I'll buy you some nice.
Yeah.
I'll buy you a tamale.
Is the almond butter guy there?
There you go. Yeah, we have I think it's 33 vendors that are there now. So we originally started with 20 and now we're to like a 33. And again, every time you walk up and down there, we have like little shirts that say NRB, our farmers market, and little badges on them. Not only people are coming up saying, thank you, want to shake your hand, we're so happy this happened. Lady I was talking to yesterday said, this is my 4th time here. We've only been open 4 weeks. She goes, I'm coming here every single week. I love it here. So again, your help as the commissioner here was instrumental in getting it to the attention of the folks that needed to, and appreciate all the help with staff and getting it through warp speed, and we're doing better each week. So it's really well. And again, come by and check it out. You'll love it. You'll love it. Any other items after I've hogged the commercial here tonight? So.
Motion to
I'm
adjourn.
hungry for a tamale.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, you're done.
Thank you.